Good morning. This week I was reading an article on how churches have been responding to COVID-19 crisis. And the question that was asked is one that really got me thinking, and it was this. If your church was removed tomorrow from your city, town, village, from your community, would anybody even notice? I hope they would notice. I hope they would. But what about our neighbour? What about the person in the street? What about the woman or the man that you chat to in the bus stop? And then there's another question we need to ask ourselves, and it's this. What if we personally were removed from our community? Would anyone notice? Would people miss us? And what would they miss about us? And what would they least miss about us? What areas of influence do we have in our community as a church or as individuals? I believe Jesus calls us to be witnesses, being an influence for his kingdom. And in this parable we are looking at today, he speaks about a lamp, something that we need during the night or when it is dark. In Matthew we read, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men and women, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." Light is described as a form of energy. It's always moving. It's always vibrant. When light energy ceases to move because it's been absorbed in matter, it is no longer light. And Jesus said that he was the light of the world. Who is the true source of light? Jesus. And he spoke, saying that I am this light, and he who follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have this light of life. Jesus is the light of the world. And we as his followers, as his disciples, are to reflect that light in our community and in the world. We are to share what Jesus has done for us to others. Now, what are the key functions of light? Well, I would argue that the first one is to expose darkness. Darkness is expelled as soon as you hit the lights. And we know this to be true, especially on these nights when it's getting darker. A few of us were out on a cycle the other night, and I was glad to have put on my lights on my bike, especially when we sped down Washy Brae, as without them the potholes would have had me off my bike. The 500 lumens, the light of my torch, expelled the darkness. You know, people are not aware of the darkness they live in if they don't see the light. The people we read in Matthew 4 who were sitting in darkness saw a great light. And the question I think that raises for us, and one we need to answer for ourselves, is this. Are we Christ's lamps? Are we shining for him? Does our life help people see him more clearly? Does our life clear the darkness for folk? Do we shine for Jesus in such a way that people around us see him in all our acts and all our words? Secondly, light serves as a guide. One of the benefits of growing up near Prestwick Airport was the regular trips to watch some of the amazing aircraft land and take off, including the Concorde. My favourite time to go was at night, because in the dark the runway was lit up, illuminated with red, green, white, yellow, bright lights, helping the planes see the runway and guiding the plane home. When we try to drive in the dark or land in the dark without lights, it's dangerous. I've tried it. It's very dangerous. Friends, we are to be guides. We are to be like those guiding lights to folk who are in darkness. We are tasked with this role of being the guiding lights, leading folk and pointing them to the Saviour, the light of the world. Thirdly, light is to be seen. I've never come across a dark beamed light, and I did Google it. For light is defined as to be something that shines. It's his raison d'etre, its function, its job. There is no such thing as a secret Christian. We need to be light at all times. And it's important to note that light shines not so much that people may see the light, it's so that they might see other things because of the light. Our light shines not that people will be attracted to us, it's not about us, but so that they might see Jesus. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about him, always about Jesus. And we read, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. Now, Palestinian homes were generally dark, having one small window. They didn't have electricity or light bulbs like we have. Their light consisted of a lamp which was in a bowl, filled with oil, and it had a wick. When they needed to light the lamp, it was placed on a stand. The most difficult thing of having this light in the house was in lighting the lamp. Remember, they didn't have matches or lighters. And as a result, no one wanted to get their light to go out because it took too much work to get the wick lit again. But when people went out of the house, it was dangerous to leave the light on for safety reasons. And the lamp would be taken from its stand and placed under a vessel where it could be burnt risk-free. As soon as someone returned, they would put the lamp back on the stand. No one lights a light only to put it under a basket or vessel. We are to let our light shine to its maximum. That is our charge. That is our job, to shine. The story is told of a man whose job was to be on the rail tracks and warn with his light the upcoming trains that a bridge was damaged. That night, as a train came, the man showed his lamp, but the train went on and crashed into a ditch. The man was taken to court because they wanted to know why the train did not pay attention to this man who was to warn them of the danger ahead. The man was asked, "Were you on duty on the night that the train had the accident?" The man replied, "Yes." The judge once again asked, "Did you have your lamp with you?" The man replied, "Yes, sir." The judge asked the last question, "Did you wave your lamp at the train?" The man replied, "Yes, sir." So the man was seen to be not responsible. Later, the man went home and told his friend, "I am glad the judge didn't ask me if my lamp was on." I ask you this morning, is your lamp on? Is your light on? Is your light on in these dark times as we expose darkness, as we act as a guide, as we shine for Christ? Remember, the light does not come from within you. You cannot generate your own light. Your light comes through him. You reflect his light to the world. When people are around you, do they see the light of Jesus in your life? Has Jesus made a difference in your life? If he has, then you have a story to share. Has God answered your prayer for you? If he has, you have a story to share. Friends, we have a world of people right here in our community who are desperate for light. They are seeking light, they are seeking hope. And we have that light in Jesus. And that light is bright enough to save them from all harm. The question that we have is this, and it's this: is our lamp on? Is our lamp switched on?